Hello everybody, it's Riff Raff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a character review. Well, it's more of an update to an existing character review, but it really has changed substantially enough where we felt we needed to readdress this subject. And that, of course, is SENCHI from Delicious in Dungeon, or Dungeon Meshi, or however you want to do it. We have now watched SENCHI with great interest, especially as Hornhelms, because there's clearly a relation there. And we've watched him over the first season that's been released here in North America, and really have mostly enjoyed what we've seen. We've seen some epic fails, we've seen some epic successes, and he is a epically weird character. He definitely fits the mold for a Hornhelm. No two ways about it. Now, once again, because I refuse to let anybody else do this, I'm going to talk about SENCHI because I just find him in some ways to be a kindred spirit. In other ways, I find him to be a grand embarrassment to the Dwarven race. But we'll talk about that in a little bit here. Now, if you haven't seen SENCHI, then you need to watch Delicious in Dungeon, which is a anime series running currently on Netflix in North America. It's not a plug for them, but it is a plug for the show because the show is worth watching. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about the actual show and the plot therein. Our focus today is once again on SENCHI and his actions and deeds and how they're viewed by us, the Hornhelms, within the Dwarven community. And that's a serious subject. Well, for at least a few people. So, SENCHI now has gone through a complete season, and we've seen some amazing, amazing things. So let's tally up some of the things that we've seen. On the plus side, okay, this dwarf is one amazing cook and seems to know everything you could ever want about how to cook, even items that he's never seen before. He's able to find a way forward to make them taste amazing for his group. And they've been feasting on the most outrageous monsters throughout this dungeon and have been enjoying themselves immensely. In addition to this, he is also proven to be a real kick-ass fighter, as dwarves should be. And we really appreciate watching him fight, whether it's the empty armor that moves around because, well, I don't want to give anything away, but whether it's the empty magical armor or his most epic success to date, he slays a kraken. A kraken! In the water, no less. Isn't that just amazing? I mean, that's epic beyond epic. A dwarf by himself slaying a kraken. Wow. Just wow. Now, there is also a kind of a trade-off one here that it's difficult to explain. When SENCHI first speaks about fruits and nuts, I was like, wow, that's so epic, because he was talking about fruits that were like nasty fruits that can eat you, and nuts and things that were all kind of epic dungeon fodder rather than what you would find in a garden. So I thought, wow, that's really cool. I really like that. Here's a dwarf who I thought was going to go to the side of the elves when he first said that, but then it turned out that that wasn't the case. Now he also has pet columns, which is weird, that he uses for growing vegetables on. Now, first I was going to say, well, vegetables, that's an elvish thing, I mean, really. But they do taste good in food. And he's growing them on golems. and he gets to kill the golems over and over again just to harvest the vegetables. I mean, that's pretty cool. So even though it's vegetables, I'm okay with that. However, there are some uh, things I'm not so okay with, which definitely have to go on the fail side when it comes to poor Senchi. Now, frolicking with an elf and being grateful for a gift of soap? Nah, that's not a Hornhelm. That's some twisted thing that came from elsewhere. Has nothing to do with Hornhelms. Oh, I was so green. I was so nauseous. I just about had to fly to get to the toilet fast enough. That was just too much. And orcs? He's friends with orcs? He didn't slay them all instantly? He allowed himself to be captured by orcs? And then he trades off vegetables to them? What is this world coming to? I just can't believe that. You can't be nice to orcs. The only good orc is a dead orc. Huh. Can't believe it. And friends with an elf? I mean, oh, this isn't Legolas and Gimli. This is not another opportunity for elves and dwarves to be all chummy with one another. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Now, the last one here is in the second season, and it's kind of a fail for me. He's busy explaining the birds and the bees, and when the mommy halfling loves the daddy halfling very, very much, and all that kind of good stuff to a halfling. That was weird. Now, that didn't bother me as much as the orc lover or the elf lover, but it was still disturbing enough. So, of course, watching all these iterations, and while we're still trying to find the person we spoke about in our first review, we're going to go back and look for that now, because we know that that's a real member of the Hornhelm family, and when we find him, boy, do we got some questions, because I don't think he really inspired those events. We need to get the truth out of that, but that's a different subject. In the meantime, in talking amongst all the Hornhelms and looking at Senchi, his epic success, well, killing a kraken, a dwarf killing a kraken on the water, that's a 9. Absolutely a 9. I mean, really, that's about as epic of a success as you can have as a dwarf, at least in hand-to-hand combat. That was truly great, and we think it's fantastic. Way to go, Senchi. Now, on the epic fail. Well, in talking with all of the Hornhelm members, we had a hard time deciding on one epic fail. I mean, we already know that he's bad around traps. That's not an epic fail anymore. The epic fail has everything to do with how he is dealing with the elf in the party and how he dealt with the orcs. Those are both pretty epic failures. By the way, I had forgotten to mention one earlier. Being the keeper of the outhouses all within the dungeon is maybe not an epic fail, but that's not something that any dwarf should ever admit to. So when we considered all the epic fails that he had on that side, we said, well, man, that just destroys the honor of the dwarves. And I mean, how can you be seen with your beard after that? All I know is that we all agreed that was also a 9. Now, overall, we like Senchi a lot. And it's hard to get agreement on everybody's side what we should really say on that side. But we decided that it should be an 8. And that's how we see him overall. So with a 9 for an epic failure and a 9 for an epic success, we have 18 there, 8 overall, 26. Senchi, you're one of the highest ranked characters we've ever reviewed. Now, the fact that you're a dwarf and that you're a Hornhelm has absolutely nothing to do with that. Really, you can trust us. That's for sure. We have no reason to. Okay, maybe we do. But we really like Senchi. So that's what we think of Senchi now that we've gone through the first season plus the first episode or so, 2 episodes, I think, of the second season. We still think he's awesome. We know that he's really a Hornhelm, but we got a few issues we would like to talk to him about in a private room. Oh well. So that's today's presentation, and we hope that you liked it. If you do, please give us a like, consider subscribing, come back and see us again real soon, and remember, dwarves rock!